My name is Peni Edwards. I am the daughter of Andrew Edwards and Letara Taraimo. I was born beside the river, the Hutt River in Lower Hutt, and under the Rinataka Mountains. I lived here the majority of my life, and then I moved to Hawke's Bay with my children. Hawke's Bay is a beautiful place. I'm so proud to call that my home. But this is my actual home, and I've come back. I came back here in February, and I occupied Parliament with all these beautiful people that are awake to what is going on around the world. And I'm still furious about it. And I haven't wanted to speak for a few days because it makes me very emotional. Because I'm just so infuriated and outraged at what is going on. And we need you people to wake up. Is that better? Alright, sorry people. On the 22nd of February, I'm going to tell you about what happened to myself. On the 22nd of February, I was smashed in the head by a police officer with his black knuckle duster gloves. I just spent that time talking to them, being nice to them, being kind, as our so-called Prime Minister says. She is not my Prime Minister. I never voted for her last round. Be kind, she says. She sent in the police, these policy enforcers, and they bashed and they beat up these innocent protesters. I was one. I was knocked to the ground, I got back up. And I stayed. We were warned and we were told and we heard through our people that they would come for us again, and they did. Some of us stayed. We stayed and we held the line because we believe that we have a right to protest, that we have a right to speak our damn well freedoms. These aren't privileges. We were born with these. On the 2nd of March, that morning, with a chopper flying overhead, with police speakers telling everyone they had to leave. We stayed for all of us. I watched people walking up Hill Street. I saw this elderly couple, and I'll never forget this. They had both gone to the back of a truck. They had pulled out a sign. The sign, I think it says Aroha. They walked up Hill Street, and them along with others were beaten. They were going uphill as the police, these policy enforcers, come down the hill with shields and batons and beat them down. They knocked them to the ground. They trampled on people's heads. They trampled all over people's mana, but you know what? You never took that from us, ever.
No.
Our mana is intact.
Why?
How dare you? How dare you treat the people of New Zealand, us natives, tangata whenua like that? How dare you? I don't know who the hell you think you are. You're disgusting. I don't know if I can even forgive you for what you have done to us. So many of us were so traumatized. Have had to get counselling. I'm off to go see a psychologist. That's what I did. To be well, to talk about what happened. I was lucky. I was one of those people that had their ACC claim accepted for the assaults that happened to me. I have stood there and I've listened to many people talk about ACC and how their claims were denied. That morning on the 2nd of March, I have never ever witnessed such cruelty and such violence against these beautiful, innocent protesters. We stood there and we sung songs of love. We tried to talk to the police officers in front of us with their helmets on, their masks and their shields. But they did as they were told. They followed the orders. I I stood there on that front line beside women, beside men, as these policy enforcers smash their faces with these shields. I saw a police officer. She was some type of leader, in charge in some way, and she yells out this command. And they did it. And then there were police officers behind them, coming through with their black knuckle duster gloves and smashing people through their shields. I was one. I was smashed in the side of my body and smashed in my ribs. There was a second assault against me that time while we stood there peacefully holding the line. A lot of us were taken early that morning, and we were brought here. We were brought here to this building that our taxpayers paid for before we were mandated out of our job, because we do not believe in your single source of truth, because we are free thinkers. We will think for ourselves and we will research for ourselves. And like goddamn will I be told to get injected with something I don't want to get injected with. I lost my job, but I didn't lose my mana. 25 years, 10 months gone down the drain. You're out. What the fuck is that? This is a cruel, cruel, cruel government. My daughter lost her job as well, and I'm so damn proud of her. TC Ambler, I'm so proud of you. You have been through a tough ride as well. And you and your boyfriend, Headley, beautiful Headley. You stood there and you protected my daughter on that front line that morning. You saved her from the bashes, and you took the bashes for her. Smashed in the nose, smashed in the face. Thank you for protecting my daughter, Headley. I will never forget that. A lot of us were marched out the back and we were processed like stock. It was like a stockyard. That's what it was. There was a big marquee set up there with beds. I saw a man on there covered in blood, beaten up, and they were nursing him. I saw other protesters all lined up against a fence, a concrete fence behind the church, behind Parliament, handcuffed, photographed, processed like stock. And then we were put in these big paddy wagon buses, and we were transported here. There were people standing there on the street photographing us like it was funny. Well, we stood there in occupied Wellington for you, for all of us, for your kids. When we were processed, we were put in rooms and cells, a toilet. You had to urinate in front of your friends that you had just met in the cell if you hadn't already previously met them. You were released after you were photographed, after your fingerprints were taken. For being free, for being free. That was the first time I was ever arrested. We were told that there were certain places that we couldn't go to all around here. I'd walked these places since I was a kid. I've never had that happen to me before. I went back to Parliament and I saw the carnage and the chaos and the violence that the police were doing towards these protesters. It was so vicious and I will never forget it. I have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I put in a complaint through the Independent Complaints Police Authority. I fucking shit myself doing it, but I had to do it. I wrote in 2 complaints for both assaults that were put against me. First of all, I was charged with willful trespass. Then they slipped in another one, obstruction. Apparently they can do that. They can just throw another one in there. They did. Fortunately for me, I had the barrister provided through Voices for Freedom. Thank you, Voices for Freedom. I think they supported 92 of us. My charges were dropped on the Wednesday, the same time they dropped Winston's. Mine were dropped. I was due in court on the Friday, I didn't have to go. They withdrew both charges. I never got a fucking apology. Through this police conduct authority, I wrote to them and I told them what the police had done to me. I explained everything. Every second moment, every minute accounted for. I provided them with photographs and the video footage, the evidence of the assaults done on me. They wrote back. I said to them, so as part of this complaint, you've got to say what you want. I wanted an acknowledgement of what happened. I wanted an apology. And I wanted to be compensated. I get a response back from a judge acknowledging what happened. No apology. And then I get directed to the police. Go to the police if you need support for what happened to you. What a joke! What a fucking joke! What, I'm supposed to go to the people that abused me and ask them for help? What the hell is happening here in our country? And people walk by as we stand here with these placards and signs and they don't even want to look. What the hell is this? What the hell is this? Wake up, New Zealand. This is not how we are. This is not how we should be. You need to wake up.
Put a low car in there.
Thank you for everyone that's here today. Thank you for Gabriel for calling on us all. And I'm sorry for my brothers, Merv and Murray, that have just gone through what they have done in the last 2 days. It's disgusting. Shame on the New Zealand police. I had no faith in you and I have lost all my trust and respect in you. I don't know if I can ever trust you again.